All right. Proverbs chapter number 2. Proverbs chapter 2. And we are going through the book of Proverbs on Wednesday night. Not necessarily trying to do a verse by verse like we would an epistle like 1 Peter, but just trying to take it chunk at a time as the Lord leads us. And we come to chapter 2 tonight, and it's 22 verses. And really tonight what I want to do is really just give you the structure of this chapter. Here's the layout, here's the structure of it, so that when you walk out of here and the next time that you read Proverbs 2, that you got the layout, the gist of this chapter. And I thought that I would start with reading it, but I'll read it as we go along. But you may remember that in chapter 1, there were two calls to the young man to take heed to wisdom. And wisdom is going to be the theme of this chapter and chapter 3 as well. If you back up to chapter 1 and verse number 10, my son, if sinners entice thee, consent them not. So the father is speaking to his son about the value of wisdom. Then if you look at verse number 20, wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. This takes up the rest of the chapter. We call this Madam Wisdom. Now she is calling out herself in the public place for young men to come and to hear her. In the first chapter, in chapter 1, this young man is told how much he needs wisdom, how valuable wisdom will be to him, but it doesn't tell him how to acquire it, where to get wisdom. Just, you need some wisdom. That's the thrust of chapter 1. Chapter 2, if you'll notice in verse 1, my son. So now here's father speaking to son again. You find a number of these in this book. So now the father is giving his son a second talk about wisdom. And perhaps the reason we could be is because everybody doesn't get it the first time. Sometimes you had to tell them over and tell them again and tell them over and tell them over. So he has sat his son down now, and now here is a second talk about wisdom. But the thrust of this conversation is how. Where do you get it? In chapter 1, I hope you are convinced you need wisdom in your life. Now I want to tell you where to find it. And it seems that the father has chosen his words very carefully. He has crafted his words in a way that his son will remember this talk for a very long time. Now the reason why I say that is because I have read a number of commentators, and I only can take their word because I don't know for sure, that in a Hebrew Bible, that chapter 2 is what is called an acrostic chapter. That simply means that every verse begins with a different letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Now, I don't know the Hebrew alphabet, so if I was looking at it in Hebrew, I wouldn't be able to know. I do know the Hebrew alphabet has 22 verses, or 22 letters. I know that this chapter has 22 verses. So if that is so, that's kind of neat. You could say in English, this is wisdom from A to Z. In Hebrew, it is whatever it is, all right? But it lends itself to poetry, and so this is how to get wisdom. So let's break it down a little bit, and I'll run through this very quickly, and we'll not cover every phrase and every verse. But in verse number 1 through 5, there is searching for wisdom. Look at verse number 1. My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom and apply thine heart to understanding. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver and searchest for her as for hid treasure, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. I want you to back up, and I want you to mark a little word that's very key. In verse number 1, my son, if. Verse 3, yea, if. Verse 4, if. So it is the same promise that you find in James 1 and verse 5, but it is conditional. God is not going to just dump a bucket load of wisdom into your soul. You have to want it. And you have to be willing to search for it. And if you'll notice how the desire intensifies from verse 1 and 2 to verse 3, 4, and 5. If thou wilt receive my words, hide my commandments with thee, incline thy ear unto wisdom, and apply thy heart to understanding. That's one level. Verse 3. If thou criest after knowledge. Liftest up thy voice for understanding. Seekest her as silver. Searchest for her as hid treasure. So you see how it intensifies? In the first 2 verses, the charge is to listen to wisdom when it is brought to you. When somebody offers you words of wisdom, then listen and apply thine heart. But wisdom begets a thirst for more wisdom. So the words indicate that there is an intense desire. Go and search for it as if it is hidden treasure. It may require hard work. It is a lifelong quest, but it would be worth it in the end if you get it. Amen. So here's what we know about wisdom so far in these 2 chapters. Is we desperately need it. It is available, but it's not coming to everybody. You can find it, but you got to have some diligence to go after it. And here's the structure. Verse 1, if. Verse 3, if. Verse 4, if. Verse 5, then. Then. If you meet those qualifications, then it'll come to you. So here's the only question. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want wisdom? I was reading the other day over 1 Corinthians, and there's a verse I've read a number of times. In 1 Corinthians 12, 13, and 14, Paul deals with spiritual gifts, especially chapter 12 and chapter 14. He comes to the end of chapter 14, talking about the tongues and the prophecies and all of that. And at the end of that conversation with spiritual gifts, he makes a statement. And here's a statement. But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant still. Well, that's a good statement, isn't it? There are some people you simply cannot help. They are too deep into their foolishness and their ignorance, and they are not going to listen to counsel. There are some people, the best thing you can do is just let them be ignorant still. You could help them if they would listen. But if your choice is to be ignorant, then just be ignorant. Wisdom is a choice and ignorance is a choice as well. And every once in a while you will find a young man or young lady who wants the wisdom of God, and he gives his life to this quest for wisdom. But if not, then just let him be ignorant still. Just leave him alone. So here's how you search for it. He says, my son, if thou wilt receive my words. You want wisdom? Here's the first thing you got to do. Listen. Listen. When the older man is talking, just listen. Don't reject it because you know you're 19 and you already have all of the answers to life's problem. No, just listen. Just listen. You can hear the preacher preach and mentally agree with what he says, but don't receive it into your heart. And if your heart is unwilling to receive the truth, then darkness sets in. So receive it. And then he says, hide my commandments with thee. Thy word have I hid in my heart, that I might not sin against thee. It's kind of like in Matthew 13, that parable of the sower that scatters that seed on the 4 grounds. And one of those types of ground is shallow ground, and it doesn't take root, and the birds come and they devour it. And if you don't get something into your heart, well, the devil can't steal it away, then you're going to lose it. And the reason why you hide it is to keep it safe until you need it. Men don't hide junk, they hide their treasure. So he says, hide my commandments with thee. He says in verse 2, incline thine ear unto... When you recline, you go back. When you incline, you're leaning forward. Joshua 24 and verse 23, therefore put away, Joshua said, the strange gods which are among you, and incline your heart unto the Lord God of Israel. Incline your ear, lean your ear, bend your ear, listen. Everybody else be quiet. I'm trying to I cannot listen to 2 things at a time. I can't. If I'm on the phone talking to somebody, everybody else just got to be quiet. I can't have no music in the background, don't nobody talking to me. I can only listen to one thing at a time. Hey, when you're in church, there are some people when they are in church, they're slouched down and they're on their phone playing some game. And there's other people that are sitting up and they're alert and they got the Bible in their lap and they're anticipating a word from God. You will fall whichever way that you're leaning. If you're leaning back, you fall back. If you're leaning forward, you'll lean forward. So some people, they're leaning toward the world and they're going to fall that way. There are some people come to church and they ought to bring a pillow. They cannot stay awake. Can't stay awake. Huh? I mean, just cannot. And there are other people that sit there and they're alert and they're on the edge of their seat and we're anticipating. We think something's coming. Incline that heart. And then he says in verse 2, apply thine heart to understanding. You have to love truth. You have to look for truth and apply. You have to be willing to live the truth. How does this apply to my life? How will this make me better? Even if we're preaching on the home on Sunday morning and it's to the wives and you're not a wife, or it's to the husbands and you're not a husband, there's got to be something in there that'll help me. And a lot of people come to church to hear the message that the other guy needs to hear. I hope she's listening right now because she needs this. Oh, preacher got his number. Oh, I hope he is not in the foyer right now. I hope he's listening. Come to hear the message of somebody. You know what would be best? If we would just worry about ourselves. How does this help me? Then he says in verse number 3, verse number 3, if thou criest after knowledge and liftest up thy voice for understanding. Boy, that desire is getting intense now because now you got emotions involved. When you cry, when you lift up your voice, you're getting serious. In chapter 1, it's wisdom that was standing in the streets and she's crying out. She's lifting her voice up for wisdom. But now it's the young man. He's the one crying out. He's screaming or hollering out. He's crying for wisdom to come. And there's no tragedy. There's no crisis that I can think of that's in this chapter. It's not a last-ditch, last-minute, desperate plea because he's made a wreck out of his life. He just desperately wants the wisdom of God. I don't want to be ignorant. I don't want to be unwise. I don't want to make foolish decisions. I need wisdom. It says in verse 4, seekest her as silver and searchest for her as for hid treasures. Do you want the wisdom of God bad enough to get on your face before God every day and cry out to him asking for it? Do you want it bad enough to read and to listen and to dig and observe and to search for it? You want it that bad? You ever been down on the beach and some guy out there with a metal detector, got headphones on, and he just combed the beach, huh? Just looking for treasure, isn't he, huh? They've been 75 guys that's been along with a metal detector. Same place, but if I could just find treasure, huh? I mean, he's really intent. Or have you ever seen these shows where they go out there and they excavate, I mean, huge mountainsides looking for gold, these gold rush guys, huh? I mean, they really want it. You know where a gold mine is at? It's right here. The Bible is God's gold mine, and some people won't dig. Want the preacher to rub it on you like rubbing lotion on you. You don't get it by osmosis. No, you got to dig for it. So here's what these verses are simply saying. How bad do you want it? If you want to be ignorant, then just be ignorant still. But if you will receive, and if you'll hide, and if you'll incline, and if you'll apply, and if you'll cry, and if you'll lift up your voice, and if you'll seek, God will give you wisdom. So how do you know that? Verse 5, thin. Thin. Verse 9, thin. So you got the condition and the promise. And here's the thing. In verse 5, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. If you want wisdom bad enough, God will give it to you. He will. God will put you in the right church. He'll give you a wise friend at work that'll help you. He'll give you understanding to discern. Well, that don't sound right. He'll give you understanding. See, God doesn't hide wisdom to play hide and seek. It's not like he hides it to keep it away from you, but he's hidden wisdom to judge the heart of man, whether he really wants it or not. In the Gospels, Jesus spoke unto them in parables because their hearts were already hard and their eyes were blinded to the truth, those unbelieving Jews. But if you'll open your heart and you receive it, then God will show you the truth that's in that. And why disperse wisdom to fools that are just going to scorn it and not apply it to the life? It's casting pearls before the swine. But if you want it, God will give it to you. Because wisdom is not so much a head issue as it is a heart issue. These verses don't have anything to do with IQ or intellect or GPA or how smart you are or how many degrees that you have. It starts and ends with what is in your heart. Why would God dispense wisdom to someone whose heart is not right? He says down in verse number 9, he said, then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment and iniquity, yea, every good path. That's what God's interested in right there. God wants you to be on every good path. But if you want to run the way of the world, then God will let you do that by your own wisdom. How bad do you want it? Securing wisdom. But then in verse 6, that's searching wisdom. In verse 6 or 8, there is securing wisdom. Look at verse 6. For the Lord giveth wisdom. Out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. Now you just think about that. The Lord giveth wisdom. James 1:5, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberty and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. Later down in that chapter in verse number 17, every good gift and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, in whom there is no variables, neither shadow of turning. Here's what it says. If you want wisdom, God will give you wisdom. What you got to do? You got to ask. You know that's how I got saved. You know how I got saved? I asked. It is. I came to God one day and I told him that I am a sinner and that I believed in Jesus Christ, and I asked him to save me, and he did just for the asking. And I bet if you were to ask God every day for wisdom, I bet he'd give it to you. He says in verse number 6, the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He layeth it up. God has a storehouse full of wisdom. It is for every age. It's for every situation. And he has stored it up for those who need it when they need it. He has wisdom for singles. He has wisdom for married people. He has wisdom for teenagers. He has wisdom for senior saints. He has wisdom for middle-aged people. He has wisdom for people that just got married. He's got wisdom for this just having a baby. He's got wisdom for grandparents. I'm telling you, whatever stage of life you're in, God has wisdom for you. You are going to face a major decision at some point in your life, and you're not going to know what to do, but God has wisdom already there ready for you when you need it. You bring children in the home and discover you ain't got a clue about raising kids. There's special wisdom there that's in the pantry or the storehouse of God. If you just go get it, he's got a storehouse of wisdom for you. You need financial wisdom, he's got some of that. You need marital wisdom, he got some of that too. You're having an issue at job, he got wisdom for that. Securing wisdom, you can have it. But then in verse number 9, there's spending wisdom. You pray and you ask God. You search for it. You do what he says in verse 1 through 4. God gives you wisdom. Now there comes a time when you spend it. You need to use it. And he's going to give you two examples, verse 9 through 19. Here's what wisdom will do. It produces two things. It produces holiness and it produces protection. Verse 9, then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment and equity and every good path. But in verse 12, to deliver thee. Now here's what he's going to do in the rest of this chapter. He's going to warn this young man of evil men and foolish women. And both of them come with temptations. But if you have gained wisdom from God, this is where you spend it. This is where that wisdom is going to come in handy. He says in verse number 10, when wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul. You know, there are some people that live right and they are miserable. They've checked all of the boxes. They're doing everything that's expected of them. And they're dutifully trudging along, secretly wishing that they could live another life. But this chapter's not for you. This chapter's for those who find it pleasant to live the godly life. It keeps bringing you back to the heart. I'm going to warn you about two people. First of all, there's the folly of evil men. Look at verse number 12. To deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things, who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked and they froward in their paths. Now I'm going to tell you something. He's going to give you some wisdom right here. There are three indicators of an evil man. You got three indicators. First of all, godless speech. Look at verse 12. To deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things. Froward. Froward is an old English word that means unyielding. So here's a man who speaks things that does not yield to the will of God. He's obstinate. People who are disobedient to God, that will not comply to his word, who will not be governed. Now you need wisdom to deliver you from those type of people. That's what you need. And if you'll take the wisdom God gives you, here's what wisdom will do. Wisdom will tell you who's who to have company with, and who to avoid. Now I'll help every young person in here. The first clue as to who don't need to be your friend, listen to him talk. What comes out of his mouth? Because out of the mouth the heart speaketh, right? Are you with me tonight? All right. So he is marked by godless speech. Just listen to him. He will tell you what's in his heart. But then godless behavior, look at verse 13. Who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness. So this evil man either knew or was on the path of uprightness, but he has left it to walk the ways of darkness. Do you see that? Yep. To deliver thee from the way of the evil man, who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the way. It is one thing for a heathen man who's never had a Bible and never been in church. He's never had anything preached on. It's one thing for him to live in sin. He don't know anything there is. He don't know there's anything else. But the one you better watch out for is that one that sat in church all of his life, brought up to walk in truth, knows the Bible frontward and backwards. But as soon as he turned old enough to get out of the house, he left the paths of uprightness. Well, I used to believe that you couldn't drink, but I've been enlightened now, and I know there's nothing wrong with social drinking. You better watch him. I used to believe like you, and I was a legalist too, but I've got so much joy in my liberty in Christ now, and you don't have to live by all of those rules. You better watch him. Amen. I grew up too that you couldn't go to the movies, but now there's nothing wrong with the movie theater. It's nothing wrong. Because you know Hollywood is so much cleaner now than it used to be. Amen. Amen. I said something about Disney Sunday. If you were here, I said something about Disney, and I got little ripplings about it. So I thought, well, I was looking for a place to say something about Disney tonight. I couldn't find it, so I just wrote Disney in my notes, and there it is. How about that? Just put it in there myself. How you tell me? You tell me now. Now I know everybody's got different standards, and you tell me how that a Christian goes to Disney, supports Disney, watches Disney, sets Disney in front of his. One of the executives at Disney just came out. They are wanting at least 50% of all of their characters in all of their Disney movies or whatever it is, for at least 50% of them to be lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, plus, whatever it is. And here's my question for you, all right? Is there anything that Disney could do before you finally said, too much? I'm done. Just a bridge too far. Bridge too far. I mean, pedophilia, would that do it for you? Huh? Well, anyway. Has left the paths of upright. I'm telling you that when they've left the paths of uprightness, and it's usually in the name of liberty in Christ, you better run away is what you better do. Amen. Young lady ain't never wore pants a day in her life. Takes her first day of freedom to put on a pair of blue jeans. You ain't got no core. You have no convictions. You have left the paths of uprightness is what it is. And then they'll come into the church. New way of worship. New Bible. Different standards of morality. And here's the thing about it. There are some churches who are full of people whose heart is leaning that way already. And they get sucked in. But you better have a church full of people leaning way, way, way from that. I like the old ways. I like the path that we've been on. And I'm going to tell you something. God will deliver a church from that mess. What He'll do. Godless speech, godless behavior. And then here's how you mark that man. Godless appetites. Look at verse 14. Who rejoice to do evil and delight in the forwardness of wicked. That's what Facebook is for. It's for you to show all of your friends that you have a heart that rejoices to do evil and you delight in the forwardness of your heart. Amen. It's not that you gave in to temptation and you had a drink and you hid, and you went to the movies and you go down to the beach half naked, and it's not that. No, it's that you got to display it, you got to rejoice in it, you got to flaunt it. And the Bible says when you find him, when you find that man, run away, avoid him like a black flag, get away. Why don't you find somebody rejoices studying the Bible? Find somebody who rejoices in church. Find somebody that rejoices in singing good songs. Amen. Well, anyway, here's what it'll do. It will teach you to stay away from the evil man. Here's the other way that you can spend wisdom. It'll warn you from the folly of the strange woman. Look at verse number 16. To deliver thee. See that? Verse 12, deliver thee. Verse 16, to deliver thee from the strange woman. Even from the stranger which flattereth her with her words, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of God, for her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. Now this father's going to bring up the strange woman several times. In fact, in chapter 5 and chapter 7, we're going to talk about the strange woman a lot. And I don't know that his emphasis right here is adultery and sexual temptation. He mentions her, but he's really going to mention her in chapter 5. We're really going to get into her. He just mentions her in passing. And so I wonder if in mentioning her, he also is using her as an illustration of anything that would draw your heart away from God. Anything that would tempt you, anything that would allure you. The strange woman is the strange woman, but could she stand for anything that would draw your heart away from God? And notice what he says about her, just quickly, verse 16, her methods to deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth her words. And the first thing I would just say is that she ought to be a stranger. It ought to be strange to have a woman like this around. Can you have enough discernment about you to say, that's a strange woman? I better run away from her. And when she whispers flattering words, we better shut your ears to that. Here's problem one. We're all eat up with pride, every one of us. And flattery appeals to that pride. Right? That's why we like it. That's why we like it. I go off and preach at these meetings, and kids come up and they want me to sign their Bible, and somebody come up and say, oh, we've been listening to all your sermons on YouTube, and oh, you're a great preacher. I don't believe a word of that. Nothing. You understand? Them kids, when you sign your Bible, they want everybody to sign their Bible. It don't matter if the devil sign my Bible. It don't make any difference. Huh? Amen. And one day you young preachers, somebody tell you, oh, that was a great message. I'm just going to tell you right now, it wasn't as great as they say it was. Amen. Are we okay tonight? Yeah. Don't believe that. I want to believe it. It is better for my flesh to flop than to succeed. For my flesh, it is better if nobody asks me to sign their Bible than for a whole lot of people to sign my Bible. Because I start signing a whole lot of Bibles, I get to thinking, I might sign my own Bible, to be honest with you. I do pretty good. That ain't good for my flesh. Amen. And here's the one good thing about me, and I've got to be done. I'm watching the clock. The one good thing about me is that I am so depressed and negative and down on myself, I don't ever believe flattery. Don't ever believe it. And the other good thing about me and Jacob is we never use it on anybody else. If I ever tell you good job, I'm going to tell you, that was a good job. If I ever tell you how great you are, you will know I actually mean that. Amen. Her methods, verse 17, her character, which forsaketh the guide of her youth. If you want to write down Jeremiah 3 and verse 4 as a cross-reference to it, the guide of her youth is the father. So here is a girl that won't listen to her father. And forgetteth the covenant of her God. She don't want to have nothing to do with God. The strange woman is not the harlot on the street corner. The strange woman is the pretty girl that sits in the church pew with her Bible in her lap, but she has a rebellious heart against her parents. And you think that she's justified and she's not all that bad. I'm going to tell you something, guys. I'm glad you're on the front row. I'm going to tell you something. You marry that rebellious woman, that woman with a rebellious heart, and she's going to bring that rebellion into your home. And if that woman has a rebellious heart against her father, one day she's going to have a rebellious heart against you. And you've been warned over and over and over. But let him that be ignorant, let him be ignorant still. And forgetteth the covenant of her God. She don't have nothing to do with her father, and she don't want to have anything to do with God. Amen. Her character and her destiny is in verse 18. Her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go under her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life. There is death in her words, and there is death in her ways. You let her into your life, and you're going to have some things die in you. How many times have we watched a good young man on fire with God get involved with an unspiritual girl, and it killed his spiritual life, and vice versa? How many times have we seen that? And you may not die, but everything that's precious to you will die inside of you. And those who go her way, neither take they hold of the paths of life. They never come back to the same. You see, folly leads to death, but wisdom points to death and says, there it is, stay away from it. So they're searching for wisdom. They're securing wisdom. They're spending wisdom. And finally, just so you know the structure, in verse 20-22, there is standing in wisdom. Thou mayest walk in the way of good men. Keep the paths of the righteous. For the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and transgressors shall be rooted out of it. And so the Father closes with just a word of wisdom to his Son. Wisdom will keep you from the evil man and the foolish man, but wisdom will put you in the path of good men and upright men. There's good men and women who would be happy to give you good counsel. But you need wisdom to point those people out to you. I remember asking an old preacher years when I was just a kid, and I'd ask preachers to give me a word of advice. I never forgot what he said. Roy Goodson. And I asked him to give a young preacher a word of advice. Here's all that he said. He said, make old friends. Make old friends. Make friends with people that's older than you. That's been farther down the road than you. That's wiser. And just listen. And when you get in a group of older people talking, don't feel like you've got to say something. You don't have anything to contribute to the conversation. Just listen. You might get some wisdom. Now, end right here. I don't have time to turn to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 18-25. It contrasts the wisdom of the world and wisdom of God, and talks about how that by the foolishness of the cross, God saves them that believes. The message of the cross is foolishness to those who perish, but it is the wisdom of God for salvation. If you reject the wisdom of God as foolishness, you'll perish, and you will never take hold of the paths of life. And like the wicked, you will be cut off from the earth, and you will be rooted out of it. But if you will cry out to God, He'll reveal to you that good man who perfectly kept the paths of righteousness. That man will deliver you from every evil. There's the gospel in those verses right there. So Father, Son, sit down. I need to talk to you. Now, I know we've already talked about this, but I want to talk to you about it again. And I told you that you need wisdom. I'm going to tell you where to find it. And here's the only question. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? If you will every day of your life get on your face before God and say, God, my ears are open, my heart is open. I need your wisdom today. You know what God will do? God will give it to you. He'll give you wisdom and it will deliver you. But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant still. Amen? That's Proverbs chapter 2, just as fast as I could give it to you.